Good afternoon. I'm going to call this session the Boardroom Revision to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional territory of the Métis Nation. With me today is Ray Massacott, who's directly to my left, and Jeff Budge, who's farthest to my left. My name is Harvey Diamond. The City Assessment Department is represented by Stephen Belgenstein, and our Secretary is Kelsey Harrison. We'll be hearing applications for revision of the assessment rules in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision have been requested are described in each application. We will limit discussion to those matters. The statement that the applicants or the assessor make at this hearing must be sworn, and all parties prior to providing testimony must be sworn now. Be advised that we do not accept comparative assessments, which we do not consider as evidence. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council, and we're independent of it in the City Administration. We make our decisions on the basis of the evidence that we hear, and we provide written orders that we mail to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that our decisions with respect to application for classification may be appealed to the Municipal Assessment Branch, or if it pertains to a set liability to pay tax at all, to the Court of Queen's Bench. And should a party wish to appeal, the information I'll do so will be included with our order. With respect to the hearing process, I'll confirm matters to be addressed with each applicant following their swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by any questions this applicant may have. After, the applicant will provide his testimony and will be asked questions. Each party will be given an opportunity to summarize if they wish to do so. Once the events and application is brought forward, the party may leave. The process will repeat for each matter on the agenda today. And after all the matters are heard, we will close our hearing, deliberate and private, and we'll issue written orders which will be sent by written mail as soon as possible. The information will be recorded and form part of public record. Thank you.
Could you please state your name? And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Could you please state your name? And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Excellent. Do you have any?
I do, I'm just organizing it. Give me 2 seconds. So nobody has to fumble through papers later. Four, and I'll get to yours. Here, there's 5 properties, I don't separate by.
Thank you. Oh, so it's 5?
Yeah, just give them, yeah, like,
Cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
I only have,
I got 4.
oh, thanks.
Yeah, way ahead of you.
Okay, the first matter of the agenda today is 90 Malson Crescent. Mr. Livingston, when you're ready, you can proceed.
Sure. The file number is 1959104. That is 90 Lawson Crescent. The annual rent value is $141,480. I believe Mr. Bufeld there is going to be seeking confirmation for this one.
That's correct.
That's great, see the confirmation,
For this one.
okay? Thank you. Okay, so the next matter then is 99 Malson Crescent, and again, Mr. Livingston, when you're ready.
Okay. Yep, the file number is 19-5903, 99 Lawson Crescent. The annual rental value is $283,620. I have a verbal recommendation for this one for $256,224. That's the rounded price for to be multiplied by 12. So this is based off the realty value at $5.12 that was decided on for the 2020 realty.
That's acceptable?
Yes.
Yeah. And you're satisfied then that the realty value was appropriate? And
That's-
it's not being appealed by the city?
That's not being appealed by the city, it's not going to municipal court, so this is the recommendation that we're offering.
Okay, any questions by panel members?
Have no further
Okay,
questions.
thank you. Next, item number 4, 169 Nelson Crescent. Ms. Lawson, you ready?
Sure. The file number is 195905169 Lawson Crescent. The annual rental value is $984,060. So we have a total premise area of 151,392 square feet for an overall per square foot $6.50. So we get to that $6.50 if you look down to our base ARV per square foot. So we're using a net rent or a model rent of $4.38 a square foot for this premise. We are applying that to our total premise area of 151,392 square feet. We're then applying our occupancy costs. So we're applying the full area is getting heat, electricity, and water, but we're only applying 4,423 square feet of air conditioning. So when you add our occupancy costs of $320,941 to our base ARV, you get an annual rental value of $984,060. So the rent comparables for this one, obviously this is a larger building at 151,000 square feet. So I looked for similar sizes of premises. So you can see on the reported areas of my rent comparables, they range from 95,000 all the way up to 228,000. Again, the rents range from $4 a square foot all the way up to $5.25 a square foot, and the lease terms range from 5 years all the way up to 19 years, and the lease starts range from 2008 all the way up to 2015. In terms of where they're located, the closest one would be at 1370 Sony, which is just off McGilvery. The other ones are spread across the city. There's a few in the Inkster area, one in Kildonan, that would be McLeod, and then Mission is sort of in the St. Boniface industrial area. So in terms of the comparables, I feel they support our base rent of $4.38 a square foot, and I feel that this ARV should be confirmed.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Neufeld, any questions?
Just quickly, the 1370 Sony, what are they doing on that site?
That would be the distributors, the Brewer Direct distributors.
Brewers Direct, okay. And so all these are storage or distributor, I take it?
Yeah.
Any of them hazardous materials storage?
No, none of them are hazardous.
Those are-
Although 680 Mission is a heavy-duty manufacturing facility.
Yeah,
so.
those are my questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Beach, any questions?
I have the, thanks.
Ms. Maslach, do you have any
No
questions?
horses.
And I don't either, so go ahead, Mr. Neufeld.
Thank you. This will be the first brief I handed out. Subject property is 169 Lawson, I call it Lawson. They are hazardous material storage. So what they have, then they're also on a rail hookup. Generally what they do is they have the things come into the front door, they're processed inside and then shipped out the back. I'm not going to make an extensive presentation. The board has rendered a decision on this one in 2020. We appealed that decision. There was no change whatsoever. However, I am, on my page 2, is our original presentation. You'll note that we have a 9.25 cap rate applied for 2 reasons. Hazardous material storage is generally would be a red flag for an investor if they were looking to purchase this, as they would need to be a substantial cleanup. We're not getting into cap, but I just want to explain why it is high. And of course, they are being they are in the midst of being rezoned in that Lawson area. They are looking to basically get M3 style businesses out in order to redevelop it. It is a long process, but it would not be completely unfeasible to think that this area might eventually go to multifamily and commercial, because that's what the city is trying to do. The rent we applied was $375, and that was based on the storage rents and the size and the use that is inside. It is giant hazmat bins that you see that are, I think I should have pictures actually. On page 4. These are all hazardous materials shipping, and for that reason it's a rough usage and a larger property. And we feel that 375 is very fair. A number of rents that would have to be, the properties of the size are not common. It is often difficult to find many rents for this size, but we do have a number of larger properties that we have presented on page 7. Lower, as low as, when you're above 100,000, can be as low as 265, that we're presenting it as high as 5. 1450 Mountain is $5, but that would be a much superior property that would be completely that was completely redone, and that might even be the city's record storage. No, that would be too big. That is my presentation, and we request that the rent be adjusted to $375.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Lowenstein?
Just a question about the zoning. It says on your page 6 that, where is this, the rezoning from H3 to, M3 to M1 is considered down, so they want to rezone it to M1 to light manufacturing?
Correct.
So if everything gets rezoned to M1, that would then increase the rent for the area?
No, they would actually, if they made any changes on this site, they would have to relocate. They wouldn't be able to use this site, and it would likely be redeveloped completely. Hazardous materials can only be operated in the city under M3. If they are switched to M1, which I don't know if it's actually happened, but they've been given, the plan is to switch the area to M1.
And just one other question, is this for this area, or is this not for the other side of Kinnison where the cement plant is? I'm just a little confused, because this is such an ingrained area with buildings already on
Right.
it, where the other side is basically all vacant land, where the cement plant's been demolished. So I'm just confused if it's been this side or that side, that's all.
Northeast corner, M2, yeah, I guess it doesn't necessarily indicate what side it is on. This side is
I'm sorry,
yeah, no, that's fair. No.
I could understand it being on that side,
Right.
but this side just seems strange with all these buildings already.
It's adjacent to Linen Woods, so generally when you, like, that's it, this happened before Linen Woods happened, and now often that you'll see areas like this to be unzoned and redeveloped. I don't, this is mostly for the cap rate argument, but they are planning density in that
Okay,
area.
that's I just was confused on two.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I'll look
thanks.
into it for sure.
Mr. Masco, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Ms. Beach, I have them. So you indicated that because of the rough usage of the property, that you thought it would attract a lower rent.
Correct.
And you talked about investors, but really we're not dealing with
No,
investment right now. We're
we're
just
not.
talking about the potential rent from the property.
Of course, yes.
Okay? And I gotta ask you, is it not possible, because it's so hard to find properties where you can store hazardous materials, you might have to pay higher rent to get them?
I wish I brought the zoning. I don't think my understanding is if they vacate, this will no longer be able to operate as hazardous materials because they're now M2, but I didn't bring it, so that was my understanding. Either way, this is an issue that will be addressed at the municipal board, so if there's no change today, that's not a major concern.
Okay, thank you. Move the decision. And we'll next go on then to 115 Lawson Crescent. Are you ready, Mr. Livingston?
The file number is 195915, 115 Lawson Crescent. The annual rent value is $385,200. I believe this one's gonna be confirmed as well.
Yes, if you could mind sending me that mailer.
Yeah, I'll
Later.
send.
Yeah, but yes, we will confirm it, and based on what I saw, there's no reason that this assessment is fair. We are requesting complimentary things.
Thank you. And the next property is 1525 Steel Avenue. Are you ready, Mr. Lawson?
Sure.
Mr. Livingston?
The file number is 195908. This is 1535 Seal Avenue. The annual rental value is $378,780. I have a verbal recommendation for this one. It's for $366,504. That's applying $5.05 to the area. And in terms of the occupancy costs, the heat, the electricity, and the water are getting the full 51,081 square feet, and we're only applying 2,240 square feet for air conditioning. So again, that value is $366,504. And that would be a carry through from the realty decision.
And again, that's not being appealed by the city.
It's not being appealed by the city.
Okay. And Mr., you feel that's satisfactory?
Yes, it is, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then we go on to 25 Skirfield Boulevard, unit number 5. Ms. Lopez, are you ready?
Yep, the file number is 195897. This is 25 Skirfield Boulevard, Unit 5. The total rental value is $94,500. Again, I believe this one's going to be confirmed as well.
Correct.
Any confirmation?
Just, yeah, this was never reviewed prior to the appeal, so it's, the net rent is exactly the assessment.
Thank you. Next, 727 Mission Street.
The file number is 195973, 727 Mission Street. The annual rental value is $74,820. To get that annual rental value, we're applying $9.71 a square foot. So to get that $9.71, we have a model rent of $7.46 per square foot applied to the 7,708 square feet for the premise area. We are applying full heating, electrical and water to the building, and only 3,140 square feet to the air conditioning. To get our annual rental value is $74,820. Just a little history of this property. This property has a very large land to building ratio of basically 33 or 33 to 1. So it's pretty much all land with obviously 7,000 square feet of a building on it. Part of the building ranges from 1975 to 2012, so there was a recent addition. Basically, in 2012, they added 2,240 square feet. In 1988, they added 3,528 square feet. And then in 1975, they had two smaller portions at 206 square feet and 480 square feet. So that's just kind of an idea of what this property looks at. In terms of finding comparables that have that land to building ratio, they don't really exist. So I basically looked for similar ages and similar kind of uses to the building. So looking down at my comparables, they range from $5.95 all the way up to $7.37 a square foot. The areas are all very similar to the subject property. The lease terms range from 1 year to 7 years, and the lease starts range from 2011 to 2016. Again, I tried to get as close to that area as possible, so we're looking at Narren, Aaron, Powers, Wall, Holden, and Keno side. So a lot of those are in sort of the center of Winnipeg, so sort of similar to this property in Mission, which is in the St. Boniface area. So I feel the rent comparables support the rent, and we feel that this should be confirmed at $74,820.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. you feel any questions?
Yes, thank you. Your comparables, you mentioned they have large land to building ratios, that's correct? That's why.
I said they didn't.
They
don't. I said
they don't.
especially as in comparison to this one, there's no way that,
Okay.
very few do in the city, so.
So while I can appreciate this one is, the decision for realty was a bit confusing. Is it generally the department's policy to follow through the realty decision for business tax?
It's not a policy, it's something that we do.
Okay.
But no, it's definitely not a policy.
But it's
Yeah.
common?
It's common, yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you for the questions.
Thank you. Mr. Bunch, do you have any questions?
I have none.
Ms. do you have any questions?
No questions.
So would part of the rental on this one be because of the large land mass, you think it would reflect the
Well-
per square foot building rent?
So this has excess land on it, and that
Yes.
was argued during the realty, so The excess land portion of it is obviously, it was added to the realty, but for this, I don't really think it had the same effect on it in terms of the rent. Is that, if that's what you're asking?
Well, I guess I'm asking, does the rent include use of the property, and is it being used?
Well, no, our model rent does not look at that, no.
Doesn't?
No, because we're adding that excess land onto the realty portion of it, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so you have a base ARV of 746, and I see that some of your comparables are considerably below that.
Some are definitely
Yeah.
considered below that, absolutely, yeah. So, again, it was difficult to find similar comparables to this property due to its uniqueness.
And I understand. that.
So you're basically asking, was our rent higher because they have such a high land to build?
Exactly, if the land was being
Yeah.
used, I could see maybe it
You
would.
could see, you can make that argument, I guess, because there's many different, somebody can come in and say, I can use all this land, I can develop this land, you can rent out more of the land, so you could make that argument, but in this case, I don't think the model is actually taking that into consideration, so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Steve,
Follow-up question, if you don't mind?
absolutely. Go ahead.
In your experience, does business tax does a business assessment assess excess land at all?
Or business tax, no, there's no excess land on there.
Right, so never would a business tax hearing even, or a rent even really attributed to the excess land?
I think it would, Mr. Eagle, if, in fact, you're paying a higher rent for the premises because you had to use that land.
But if it's,
It might attract a higher rent for the premises themselves.
if generally we're looking at the annual rental value, and then there's also a land adjustment applied, would not the net rent?
But the annual rental value could, though, include,
But in a situation where there is an excess land
well,
attributed to
you could
it-
argue that. I don't know if it's been established by the city anyway that they can do that, so I
Yeah.
don't think that we have to really worry about it. I think it might have been,
Well, no, I disagree. I think if there's an excess land and a rent applied, and there's a specific
well,
allocation.
I'll let you
of
do
excess
your
land.
argument.
Okay,
You know,
thank you.
I don't think the city's putting forward that. I thought that might be the reason why there's a higher rental attributed per square foot than some of the comparables.
Right.
Ms. Sullivan says there wasn't, so go
Right,
ahead.
and my argument would be that is never really happens in
Okay,
business.
well, go
tax.
ahead.
Okay, so my page one, we are requesting a rent of $375. Now, that is due to how the decision was rendered on page 3. The decision is based on an adjusted NOI and an excess land value of $518. So to me, that means the building was assessed at $341,000. And what I did is a backwards calculation, how that could be calculated. One of the panel members who made that decision is sitting here today, so he may have more insight than I do, but it was a bit difficult to determine how this was derived. But it does explicitly say that an excess land value of 518 was applied. So my page 1 is a reverse calculation of how it was actually 341 when you round it, but it was, I guess the rent could be then 376. The management was at $0, the vacancy was the city's applied vacancy, shortfall, city's applied shortfall, and a cap rate of 750 was chosen as it does, that was what seemed reasonable. Based on the realty decision, I would think the 375 makes a lot of sense. If you go to my page 6, this was appraised by Colliers, and it was given as improved value of 865 and a land value of 800. Now, when that happens, that essentially means the highest and best use is land when it is that close. If this were to be sold, it would likely be the building. It would be very reasonable to assume that the building may be demolished and then used as a redeveloped. However, this is on Mission Industrial. It is not necessarily sought after land, and you're not putting, it's likely use in the near future is just for outside storage. Page 7 is pictures of the site. You can see the building on the third picture, the inside on the first, and I'm not really sure what was the point of the second picture. The third or the fifth and sixth are showing what the parcel's main use is. From my experience, when a business tax carries through for realty, the land adjustment is not considered whatsoever. A panel may disagree with that, and that's quite reasonable, but however, I feel that the 340 that this building was attributed to would be the best way to determine the annual rental value for the purpose of this hearing. And I request the assessment be changed to $46,240. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Livingston?
So this is M3 zoning, so,
Yeah.
so basically when it comes to M3 zoning, that's heavy manufacturing. Heavy manufacturing likes to have a lot of land because they wanna
Correct.
store their materials on there, they wanna do their processes, so this probably wouldn't be redeveloped if it did sell into.
Right, it's reasonable, yeah, like it would be used as land.
The
I-
building,
the-
buildings,
the-
considering they're relatively new, 2012, probably wouldn't be demolished.
I would still contend that it does not really add much value to the building, to the parcel, as it would be the land value anyone is looking at.
Okay, those are all my questions.
Mr. Peach, any questions?
I do. Could you please point me to what you would consider to be 3 or 4 of the most reasonable comparables that you provided on page 8 and 9?
It's very difficult to pick one, because, like I said, when this was originally done, it was land. Yeah, we don't even really have much of that size.
So these comparables wouldn't apply then?
I would say page 9 would be more applicable. These are just kind of rough usage. These industrial, a lot of these are, there's some loft warehouse in there, which would be not identical, but a similar sort of market. 315 William, I can't remember what that is. Again, yeah, I would say that the table on page 9 and the bottom one is more suited to this style of property, whereas it's not. The value in this parcel is not in the building, and obviously when that happens, it's very rare that they're even renting out that way. So it is difficult to find something. But I would say, yeah, I won't even pick the property per se, but those are more suitable.
Thank you. No other questions?
Mr. Nestor, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. The board revision order that you referred to, I believe, 59, that's what you're basing it on?
Yeah, from what I can tell, there was a land value of 518. So if you look at my 858, it's the total minus
Why
that.
do you say that? Like, do you know whether it's 518 or?
Yeah, if you,
Something?
page 3, the decision is based on adjusted NOI and an excess land value of 518. So to me, that means
Okay.
the remainder is in the building.
But you don't know what cap rate they use?
No, that's an estimate. Yeah.
Okay, that's one of my questions.
Thank you. And I don't have any further questions, so thank you.
Thank you.
And next will be 680 Mission Street. So I'm assuming you're ready?
File number is 195834, 680 Mission Street. The annual rent value is $906,300. I have a verbal recommendation for $721,836. That's based off $4 a square foot applied to the whole area. The occupancy costs are fully applied to the heating, electrical, and water, but there's only 4,787 square feet of air conditioning. So again, that value is $721,836, and we're using $4. Again, this is a carry through from the realty decision, or the 2020 realty decision, so.
You're also basing on the rental lease in place?
Yes, it's also based on the lease in place, but we're following through with the
Okay.
decision. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's acceptable, Mr.
Yes,
Nico?
thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, just the number again was 721,836?
Yeah.
Okay, next is number 9 on our agenda, which is 600 Goldsby Street.
Yeah. The file number is 195799 600 Goldsby Street. We have an annual rental value of $926,760. We have a total area of 122,700 square feet. for an overall ARV of $7.55 a square foot. Looking further down, you can see that it's broken up into 3 different premises. And they're all being applied a rent of $5.25 a square foot, so that was obviously an override rent that an assessor put on it. They're all being applied heat, electricity, and water to the full premise area. And the top one there, the 429 ID, is not being applied any air conditioning where the other 2 premises are. So that's gonna give us our annual rental value of $926,760. Further down, we can look at our rent comparables. Again, very large property, so it needs very large rent comparable. So we're looking at Redwood, Inkster, and Fife. They range between $4.50 a square foot up to $6.53 a square foot. And the reported areas range from 95,000 all the way up to 134,000. And the lease terms range from 3 years all the way up to 11 years. So this one is Gillespie. So again, we had to, for the areas, the Redwood one and the Inkster and the Cloud and the Fife are all not super close to it, but close enough just due to the size of the property for the location. So I feel that the annual rental value is $926,706 is fair and equitable.
Thank you. Mr. Neufeld, any questions?
Yes, there was a decision on the realty that adjusted the rent, correct?
I believe yes, but it has been taken to the municipal board though, so.
Correct. Yeah, those are my only questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Meslow, any questions?
No questions.
I have no questions,
Okay,
thank you.
and I don't believe there, so go ahead, Mr. Neufeld.
Thank you. I'll take you to my page 5 to start. Here is the original assessment which I presented. You can check the board order right behind it to see that those values were changed. The board order indicated that the cap was changed to 7, whereas the assessment had it at 7.5. This revised workup was calculated and it appears to be exact, and there's no, based on the board order, this was what was decided. So excuse me, and the rent was applied at $373. We appealed this as it was, the cap rate was decreased. So we did not appeal this whatsoever for the rent that was applied. The rent that applied was $373. I am asking today for the $373. Taking you to my page 7. If you, near the bottom there, section 1716, partly to explain what I'll be getting into, but this is also the reason why we're slightly concerned with the not including board orders and previous assessments for this at the Board of Revision. Section 1716 reads, in determining an annual rental value for purposes of a business assessment, an assessor shall determine the annual rental value by a method in a manner that is fair and just in relation to annual rental values assigned to other assessable properties. So when we're dealing with what we call equity, it can be difficult not to look at other decisions, as that is what we are charged to do here in business tax, for business tax. On my page 6, this is the recommendation made by another assessor for the sister property of this building. It is, I believe 634 Raleigh. The recommendation was $325, and if you see on my page 2, that's the same operation, it's just 2 different titles, and they are separated. For equity purposes, an argument could be made for $325. We're not making that argument today. However, I do feel that the rent that was applied at the Board of Revision for the 2020 realty at $373 by Met calculations are just and fair and should be applied for the business tax as well.
Thank you, Mr. Neufeld. Any questions, Mr. Lopez?
Just in terms of comparing assessments, when we first started this hearing, Mr. Chairman there stated they don't compare assessments.
Again, and yeah, and that's the board can put as much weight on it as they see fit, but the Act reads 1716 that the rental value determined by assessor is fair and just in relation to annual rental values assigned to other assessable properties. So our opinion is that
Sure.
that does not line up the policy doesn't line up with the app.
So the sister property that you speak of here, this was a 15-1 agreement that you guys?
Yes,
So
and yeah, and I'm
that
not
was-
putting too much weight on
That
it,
was
so.
without prejudice then?
Yes, it was.
And,
I mean, without prejudice is
no, I
a little
understand.
unfair if that's how the 15-1 is signed. The 15-1 was signed at 10-6. I wouldn't be bringing this forward if it wasn't a final decision. Because I mean, I could just do it as a reverse calculation instead, but this is obviously how this was derived, so I think
So-
that would be misleading.
You have a board order here at 7%, and you're saying the original cap rate was 7.5%?
Correct.
That ATD presented?
Yes.
And then
And it was
they
changed
lowered-
to
They
7.
lowered the cap
Yeah.
rate to 7, that's interesting.
It's very strange, I know.
That wasn't a recommendation on the part of?
Nope, not as far as no.
Okay.
That was a decision, yeah. If you go to page 4, it says based on the evidence presented by ATD and NOI.
Okay.
and Adjusted NOI and a cap of 7.
Okay.
I know that was, further review, I remember that's why we appealed that. The rent is right, I think, it's just strange that they raised the cap, lowered the cap.
Okay, those are all my questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Page, any questions?
I have none, thank you.
Mr. Mesco, do you have any questions?
Just out of curiosity, why is it strange for them to lower the cap?
I just never seen it before. I guess in some respects, we might go through it further and decide that it was the right decision. I don't think that's necessarily the case, that it was wrong. It's just, it's a bit, we've never seen them raise the cap to fit a rent. And it's not that I would go as far as calling it unprecedented, it was just a little odd. So,
They didn't raise the cap, they lowered the cap.
lowered the cap, so subsequently raising the value. So if the 7.5 was applied, we'd be looking at an assessment of about 5.25.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
So I'm looking at the rental comparables the city has, and are you saying that they're not appropriate comparisons?
I haven't reviewed them. 1345 Redwood is Boeing, so no, I would say that is not. Well, it's not insane actually. No, sorry. Their comparisons would range, but it was applied at 373. So that's
Okay.
why my argument is
Well,
not that.
I know, but I think we have to judge what a fair rental is,
Yeah,
not what
I
it was.
understand.
Okay, so I'm looking at your industrial rentals on page 3, and which ones do you think are applicable? as
Well, we'd
comparisons?
actually be looking at the entirety of this complex in order to do a rent. Generally, we would treat this as a over 400,000 square foot building, as it is an economic unit with a separate title. The 355,000 at 275 makes sense. 770 Pandora, $3. 1821 Wellington, $350. This is one economic unit, and would be treated as so.
Is it occupied by different people, or is it owner occupied?
Owner occupied.
It is owner occupied.
This is EH price manufacturing.
Okay, thank you. And it takes us then to 2525 Easter Boulevard.
The file number is 1957682525 Inkster Boulevard. The total annual rental value is $764,640. I believe confirmation is going to be confirmed. for this
Correct.
one.
This was adjustment of cap and land value, I believe, so the rent didn't change, so.
Okay. And next is 1650 Easter Boulevard.
File number is 1958581650 Inkster Boulevard. The annual rental value is $741,300. We have a total premise area of 120,960 square feet for an overall ARV of $6.13 a square foot. So we're applying the $4 base rent to the premise area, and we're applying for the occupancy costs, the full square footage for heat, electricity, and water, but only 6,500 square feet for air conditioning to get our annual rental value of $741,300. Looking further down to the rent comparables, they range from $4 to all the way up to $6 a square foot. So this is on Inkster Boulevard, so it's in close proximity to a couple of the properties here, such as 1750 Inkster and 1150 Fife, or in the Inkster Park Boulevard, or Inkster Park Industrial Park, and it's 61 McLeod's not too far away either. It's a Kildonan one. 680 Mission is in the St. Boniface area, and 76 Pandora is also in the St. Boniface Transcona area. So again, they're all higher square footages to be comparable to this type of property. They range from 80,000 square feet all the way up to 134,000 square feet, and the lease terms range from 3 years up to 11 years. So we feel that these comparables are good support for our base rent at $4, and that the annual rental value of $741,300 should be confirmed. Thank you.
Questions, Mr. Newfield?
Just quickly, do you have this is built in the 1970s, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you know your comps are built in the similar?
Yeah, the Fife one would be similar, Inkster would be similar. Actually, Pandora's similar, although it was renovated to some degree, and I believe McLeod is a similar age. Mission, we actually have Mission, I can't
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. And this was yeah, okay, those are my questions, thank you.
Mr. Masco, any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Lynch, any questions? I don't either. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. This is, I won't go too far into this. This is at the municipal board. There was no change. The $4 rent was applied. We are still seeking $380. This property is Richelieu Manufacturing. It's they make garments. If you go to my page 2, I haven't been in it, so this is as much information as I do have. If you go to my page 2, the main parcel where the little marker is the original building, and then behind it, and as well as the side there, were additions that were made further on. The additions are obviously at the edge of the land, and that would also detracted a lot from the land to building ratio. It's just something that would be considered. Rent, most applicable. I like 770 Pandora as this, as it is similar, and that's on my page 3. And also on our page 4, we did an analysis of all of our rents, and the axis for this size does get us a rent range of $388 based on all of the data we have on page 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis, any questions?
Yeah, I have a few questions here. On your page 3, you have a few of the same rents I have, just 1155. You have it at 375, but we have it at 450. Would you agree that 450 would be probably?
Which, what property, sorry?
1155 on the bottom of your page, close to the bottom of your page 3. So we have it at $4.50, where you have it at $3.75.
Yeah, it looks like that might have $4.50. Okay. I would have to review that, but it does look like that was a step up.
Mission, which we had today, and we agreed on
Yeah.
$4. You
Yes.
have it at $3.
No, that is $4. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, those are all my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Patch, any questions?
I have none, thanks.
Mr. Masco, do you have any questions?
I do have one question. The area you have is 120,000 square feet.
Yes.
The building has 129,60.
I'm not entirely sure why that would be different, to be honest. There's no evidence to suggest the city's area is wrong,
So,
not here at all. And it is owner occupied, I mean, as you've done in now, but it's okay.
Okay, any other questions? Citizens? I don't have any questions, thank you. Okay, and 630 Kernahan Avenue.
The file number is 195831, 630 Currentine Avenue. I do have a verbal recommendation for this one. It's for $442,286, and that's applying $5 a square foot. This is not a follow-through or anything. I made this recommendation because I did feel that we were high on the rent when I compared it to a few other similar types of properties. Again, Mr. Neufeld's aware of this, so I'm not sure if he's gonna accept it, but it's out there anyways.
We are still a little bit far apart, not very far apart, but I just do feel this 5's a little high.
Sure.
Can you just make sure I got the number right, 422,286?
Yeah.
Or 442,286?
Sorry, 442,286.
Okay, good.
$5, yeah, and that's applying, it's applying 10,000 square feet for air conditioning. The rest of the occupancy costs are for the full square footage. Okay, so I'll go off my presentation then. So, 630 Kernahan, I've inspected this building a number of times. This building is basically broken down into multiple different premises with all different types of areas. There's even some office component to it on the second floor. This particular one is a warehouse portion. We have a premise area of 61,728 square feet. We're applying $6.53. Again, I did bring in the rec for $5, so that's more what I'm basing it off of. So in here, we're applying full air conditioning where, after speaking to Mr. Neufeld, we're now going to be applying 10,000 square feet for the air conditioning. So that would give us our annual rental value of $554,340. I have a bunch of different rent comparables here. I didn't feel these were overall great comparables for the property because of the type of property it is, which is why I lowered my rent. With this property being sort of broken up differently, a lot of these are all single tenanted properties, so they don't really compare overall to Kernahan. Kernahan is a very different type of property in the city. So again, I feel that my recommendation, $442,286 is a good recommendation, and yes, so, but I guess the total annual rental value is $554,340. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Neufeld?
Yes, the city have the lease? I don't know if
We have the mailer.
Mailer.
Yeah, it's not a very thorough mailer, but.
So you wouldn't even estimate what they're reporting?
Unfortunately, I can't, because this is New Flyer,
Right.
and they have an office portion upstairs, pretty nice office portion, and then they have their research and development part, which is the warehouse area. And so they've combined that to 90,000 square feet. So I can't pull out exactly what that rent is for either of them.
But they've combined it, but you could look at the rent of the total of the two, and you just couldn't separate it, you're saying?
Well, yeah, actually, they don't have it separated or
Do
broken.
you have the total rent that they've applied for the
Sure.
office?
I can give that to you, yeah. Something calculated out here.
And this would be after expenses, or is this semi-gross?
Just give me one
Sorry,
second.
sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So they're saying it's $10.08 a square foot, so they have $75,728 dollars a month applied to the 90,110 square feet, and they're reporting $29,847 of annual maintenance recoveries, but they're saying that it's not net, so
Okay.
I can't, and then from the mailer itself, because there's so many other premises and this isn't single tenanted, the expenses are for everybody on the mailer,
Oh,
so
sorry, so that rents for the whole building, or just New Flyer?
that's just New Flyer.
Just New Flyer,
Yeah,
okay.
the $10.08 a square foot, so. that would be, I guess the way they're reporting it would be a semi-gross at that. But again, this includes some of the office space that would be upstairs, I would assume too,
Okay.
so.
And the AC area, was that confirmed, do we know? Or is that
This was,
based on what we talked about?
this is based on what we talked about and I guess what happened last cycle as well. The processes.
Right. Okay, those are my questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Maxwell, any questions? Mr. Price, do you have any questions?
I do. Can you help me with the math? Your verbal rec was at $5 per square across the 61,000 plus square feet?
Yeah.
You've moved on from it?
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so I used the $5 applied to 61,728 square
Yeah.
feet. For the occupancy costs, I applied the full square footage to the heat, the electrical and the water, but only 10,000 square feet to the air conditioning.
Okay.
And so it comes up to 442,286.
That's the difference. I have something slightly different, but I understand why now.
Okay.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Maxwell, you don't have any questions? And I don't.
In light of the information just provided, I think we'll accept the recommendation. We will accept the recommendation. I want to, I'll have to review that to see if whether or not it's available. The information we were provided was that it was at 725 semi-gross. However, it is very possible that the 21,000 square feet, based on what he's saying, could have gone up. So I would ask that we accept the recommendation and we'll sort it out on our end.
Okay, thank you.